Shalom, when the self souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Kwakadash, the blood of the spouse of great most, and honesty, brothers doing the work of the most on truth, and then sincerity. Yahweh's real name, of whom the world English calls God, Jehovah, or Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh, and the Son's true name is Yahweh Shai. When we pray Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning the, and Sham meaning names, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. This is a real quick one. Hey, I don't normally say must watch video, but this clip here from Fox News, this is a must watch clip, man. I ain't gonna play it because you know how YouTube does, as the apostles say it. But yeah, man, this clip, the woman that they bring on, she goes in, right, and she says everything that we know. Right, she says everything that the whole those that be watching, right, all of the things that we're looking for, man. She speaks about how they're gonna be hyperinflation in America, right? If Saudi drops a petrodollar, right? She says that it's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before, right? Now this is these things bring us joy. These things were like, whoa, hey, bring it on, right? Because at the end of the clip, she goes on and says, hey, man, if they don't basically they've already got the solution, right? So she was basically letting it all out the bag, right? She was saying they've got the solution, right, to what happens if if Saudi Arabia drops the petrodollar, right? And that is these how can I don't know if this word is flagged yet, but that is basically the CBDCs, right? That is going to be the solution to these problems, because these elites, man, as the scripture says, right, their heart is deep. Let's grab that real quick. This is Psalms 64, right? It says, I'll start from here, actually, from 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them, right? But the Spirit of the Lord has basically, shone a candle on their wicked ways, the things that they do in secret, right? No longer are, all of their activities secret, right? Nowadays, a lot of this stuff is out in the open, right? Because they think that they can use that they can manipulate the people to the end. But hey, the Spirit of the Lord, right, has revealed these things, unto us, starting off with the apostles, on down. It says, verse 6, they search out iniquities, they accomplish diligent search, but both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, right? And that's it, man. In fact, I'll read verse 8. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away. And what this woman was doing, right, in this clip was letting it all out, man, right? Especially that last bit, that last point that she makes. They've already got the solution, right? So they want this to happen, and by extension, we want this to happen, right? Because we cannot get out of this kingdom, right, until the Lord basically makes this man push that MOTB, right? Because all these prophecies must needs be fulfilled. But yeah, a lot of conversation about hyperinflation, how just basically how bad things will get in America, right? Now basically the USD is gonna be worthless, man, right? This is Zephaniah 1:11. It says, how ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off, right? So, America, when that dollar gets dropped, man. Next one is Ecclesiastes 12:3. And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. You think the petrodollar gets dropped, and then then people will just continue on having jobs? Nah, it ain't gonna be like that, right? Cuts are gonna be made, and once again, even as doing this quick vid, all right, even just thinking about how many jobs nowadays can be replaced by AI, right? What he's showing you in terms of the commercial tech, right? Imagine what he's got behind closed doors, right? With the the government level AI, right? Man, I asked one of these AI, I said, look, man, generate me some code, right? This thing wrote some code, man. It wrote software. Now, the software wasn't accurate. It looked hella accurate, right? But a few tweaks here and there, right? It would have been it would have been a functional bit of software, all right? Now think about things like law. Think about things like what's the best medication for this and that ailment and whatever what have you, right? So many jobs nowadays are redundant because of AI, right? So as time goes on and time progresses, we won't be, we'll start seeing more and more homelessness, right? And especially if this happens. Once again, we hope this happens, right? Watch this clip. We hope. Oh snap! I didn't even see that. You see what? As soon as it played, it said 4 minutes 44. I mean, it says 4:45, but when it started playing here, it said 4:44, right? So hey, that's what we hope for, right? It says last bit, and those that look out the windows be dark, and that's talking about your financial forecasters. Yo, a lot of them will be jumping out of them buildings in that day, right? It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of grinding is low, right? And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So second Ezra 9 from 1, he answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself. Right? And, hey, watching this clip, man, it's like, yo, okay, yeah, this thing's close. Right? This thing is close, man. Right? They drop that dollar, man. They start trading in the petrodollar. Ooh wee. All right, it says, and when thou seest part the signs past which I've told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So Lord is getting ready to visit this world, man. Right, as these prophecies come, what do you call it, start coming to pass more and more, right? Yeah, you're gonna have certain people that are just gonna be like, you know what? Hey, there is a God, because you have a lot of godlessness in this world, right? You have a lot of godlessness in this world, but hey, the calamities are gonna start coming up so much that people are gonna be like, you know what? This is of biblical proportions, right? It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, and what, and Salaki, and just on that point, right, they're gonna be like, you know what? I used to laugh at all of them, Israelites, when they said, these things will come to America. When I used to laugh at those Israelites when they said these things would come, to these major cities, right, to great calamities throughout the whole earth, right? Right, but there's that meme of Nigel Farage where he says, "You laughed at me." Right? You ain't laughing anymore, right? If you type in, that meme Nigel Farage, you're not laughing anymore. Right? That's what it's gonna be. Right? Ezekiel 33 and 33. It says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Which is why it's imperative that when we're teaching, we teach the names of Yahweh Hashem Shai, because at the end of the day, when these things happen, guess who is gonna get the glory? It ain't gonna be us. It's gonna be Yahweh Hashem Shai, just like how on the deliverance before, right? What happened? Yahweh's name was magnified throughout the earth, right? So where were we? Right, this is verse 3. Now, Second Ezra 9 and 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, and you're seeing hella uproars of the people all over the world. Right, so then shall thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right, these things were prophesied from the beginning. Right, just like the elect were chosen from the beginning, right, and the wicked of Israel were chosen from the beginning, right. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and in endings and in effects. And in wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. Right? And this is a major sign, man. Right? Once again, the fact that they would, have this on just a mainstream clip. Now, I haven't seen the CNN version, right? But it says hardcore rhetoric hitting mainstream media, news, and channels, right? CNN also pumped similar, right? Been building for years and years. So why now? Well, he's going to put this link in the description box, and so like I said that at the beginning, right? Man, and hey, why now? That is a good question. Why now, right? And hey, we, speaking as a man, for me, it's because the time is ready. The time is now, right? This man is getting ready to push on with his agenda, right? So it says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, right? Because without faith it is impossible to please him, right? But faith is a gift, right? So the only the elect are going to be good, right? It says, and whereby ye have believed, right, shall be preserved from the said perils, right? And there's an example of the perils, right? It says second Ezra 15:5. It says, behold, saith the Lord, I'll bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. All right, and when you have hyperinflation, what do you get alongside that? You get famine. Then you're gonna have, those that have and those that have not. And guess what's gonna happen from that, right? It says verse 19: a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So that's what we're gonna see happening in this world, man. Right? Starting off with America, right? If this was to happen now, then we gotta ask the question after that, which is how far will America go to defend their hegemony, right? How far will they go to protect that petrodollar, man? Right? This is move to another tab. This one, right? Hegemony says leadership or dominance, especially by one state or social groups over others, right? Is the United States hegemonic, right? And the answer to that question is yes, they are, right? Regardless of whatever that article ends up saying, right? Because that's what this woman kept on saying. We will lose our dominance. We will lose our dominance. We will lose our dominance, right? And she basically said one of the things that has propped up and kept the petrodollar so strong all this time, right? Is rather the dollar so strong all this time is oil, right? And that's what she was saying. If Saudi, right, basically, and another thing she said, is basically, she says if our enemies, right, so they're basically saying these BRICS nations are America's enemies, man. Okay, so what I was gonna say? Yeah, she kept saying, yeah, the petrodollar is what gave America that dominance. But what she didn't mention was that great sword, man. That army, that U.S. army, right, with that ultimate great sword being the ICBM nuclear missile, right? And Satan would slow it down whilst we're trying to get a lesson along, right? It's Revelation 6:4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red. Red, why red? Representing Esau. It says, and power was given to him that sat there to take peace from the earth. So it's the Lord that gave him that power. Right? You read Isaiah 54:16. The Lord basically says, I am the one that created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Right? It says that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Right? And that ultimate sword is that ICBM nuclear missile, as we were saying just now. So back in what do you call it? Second Ezra's 9 and 8 now. It says we started but we didn't finish it. It says, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my laws, I must not like in my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Right? Yeah, some of them, the apostles, have been out there, their teachers before them, for for a long time now. Come to think about it, when you think about because the apostles have spoken about, don't really know the history too well. The apostles spoken about how Elder Arbar Bivens, right, was out there from before the 70s. Maybe I think they said like from the 50s. So if that's the case, that's coming on 75 years, right? But if we're just counting from 1970s, right, that's what 30. That's what 53 years, right? So that's a long time, right? That this truth has been out there in the world, all right. It says, and they have loathed, and they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know after death by pain. I should read these two more verses. It says, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, right? Because it is going to happen, and we're seeing the groundwork being laid for it to happen. Because once again, when these things happen, what you're going to be having coinciding with the time of Jacob's trouble, man, right? which the ultimate time is when E is going to be pushing, that mark. He's going to be pushing, that charagma, right? It says, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. Then answered I and said, I've said before, and now do speak, and will speak it also after, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved, right? And that we're trying to be of the group that are saved, right? Because this, it is the time that's gonna come. It's gonna be like a time like no other. Once again, pursuant to Daniel the 12th chapter, right? Jeremiah 36:7, right? But guess what? The elect shall be saved out of it. All right. So once again, I'll put the link to this in the description box. Like I would play it, but you know how these devils are. Until the next time, we say shalom.